I now call the leader of Reform UK, Nigel Farage.
We are the new kids on the block. We have no experience in this Parliament whatsoever, even though some of us have tried many times over the years previously to get here. So we can't judge you from working in this place, but we can judge you from the way the outside world sees you. Believe me, folks, this is just the first step of something that is going to stun all of you. Thank you very much.
Nigel Farage's Reform UK ahead of the Tories for the first time.
The party has rocketed up the polls since Nigel Farage announced that he was taking over as leader.
Re-energise Reform and seem to give them a poll boost.
Hard work is the only way anybody succeeds individually, and hard work is the only way we're going to have a chance as a country to turn any of this around. You know, for a Labour Party that couldn't define what a woman was, couldn't define what a working person was, well, after today I'm pretty convinced they can't define what economic growth is.
We believe that a society looks after its weak, but encourages everybody else to do the very best it can. We don't care about skin colour, we don't care about orientation, we care whether you share the values of this country. We care whether you obey the law, and we'll judge you on who you are. We'll judge you on who you are as a person. Isn't this what everybody wants? Is that what we're going to fight for? Can we make history? Are you going to be part of it? Thank you very, very much indeed. Good evening, Staffordshire! I have, for the last month, pretty much every single day, toured the length and breadth of England, where, of course, we have a parliamentary by-election which takes place tomorrow in Runcorn and Helsby, with, I think, our absolutely excellent candidate of Sarah Pochin, who despite the fact that it's Labour's 16th safest seat in the country, I'll tell you what, tomorrow we're going to give them one hell of a run for their money. I've also been travelling the length and breadth of the country to support our 6 mayoral candidates, and I've been travelling the length and breadth of the country in the 23 counties in which county council elections or unitary elections are taking place. I have been down to the west of Cornwall, I've been up to the north of Northumberland, all the way to Hadrian's Wall, and I've been doing this non-stop for a month. But I decided that I would have the last night of the campaign, the last event here in the heart of England in Staffordshire, where we tomorrow and here tomorrow in Staffordshire, we are going to do better than any of you in this room right now can even believe. There will be an earthquake in Staffordshire that will spread out across the rest of the country. We are going to do phenomenally well tomorrow. But let me tell you something. I stood in the counting hall in Clacton in the early hours of the 5th of July last year, having only decided 4 weeks before that I would give up my happy, comfortable, lucrative life and throw myself back into British politics. And as I travelled up that day to give this press conference on the 3rd of June last year, with just 4 weeks to go before the election, I sat in the car and I thought, why am I doing this? Do I need my bumps felt? And I sat and thought about it. And 3 words came to my mind. Family, community, country. They're the things that I love. They're the things that I care about. They're the things that you care about. They're the things the silent majority in Britain cares about. And they're all under threat and all being damaged by a two-party political system that has failed us, that has betrayed us, that has let us down. And we need something completely fresh and different, not just at national government level, but at local government level too. And I committed on that morning, I said that I would professionalise and democratise this party. And now, 9.5 months on, to be here in Staffordshire, where we have 62 vetted candidates standing in every single county council ward, for us to have managed to put into the field more candidates than either the Labour or the Conservative parties, and to travel around the country as I have, to meet groups like you, to see the energy, the enthusiasm, the optimism, the humour. I can't tell you how immensely proud I am of what we've done, and to be here on the eve of this poll. We have achieved in 9 months what would normally take 20 years, and without you, the People's Army, this could never have happened, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Now, local government normally slips below the radar. You pay your council tax, you get your extra 5% rise every year, but you generally don't know where that money goes or what's being done. And as part of our professionalisation, we put in January of this year, 3,000 freedom of information requests around all the councils. And what we found was really quite extraordinary. Here in Staffordshire, millions of pounds spent on agency workers and consultants. And here in Staffordshire, £18,000 spent on driving lessons for asylum seekers. What the hell is going on? Here in Staffordshire, hundreds of thousands of pounds committed to fighting climate change. Here in Staffordshire, plans in Moorlands for a very, very big onshore wind farm. And just down the road here, recently approved plans for a massive solar farm. Your money is being mismanaged by Staffordshire County Council. Staffordshire County Council should be delivering social care, they should be delivering special educational needs, and they should be mending potholes. But they seem, this massive majority government here in Staffordshire has gone totally woke, and it's spending money on diversity, equity and inclusion. It is spending money on climate change initiatives. And let me tell you something. If we win this council tomorrow, there will be no more working from home. They will come into the office or we'll get rid of them. There will be no more money spent on diversity, equity and inclusion, because we believe in this party that people should be treated on their merits, on the content of their character, regardless of their race, religion or sexual preference. We want to live in a country where everybody is equal. And we will stand up and fight against these mad net zero agendas. I don't want to see productive farmland covered up with solar panels made by slave labourers in China that, frankly, well, it's sunny today, but it's going to be sunny tomorrow as well. I'll come to that. But very often it isn't. And the dangers of this net zero cult. And I think the reason is our politicians no longer believe in God. Our politicians no longer stand up, understand and respect the fact that everything in this country has been founded and built upon Judeo-Christian culture. That is who we are. It's who we are. But no, they're all obsessed with climate change. We will fight if we win this council, or if we have to do a deal with anybody else. We will fight solar farms. We will fight wind farms. We will fight against now, in some areas, of course, there is no change. And I say this having come hot foot from the House of Commons today, where I had the pleasure of asking the Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, a question. I'll tell you what I asked him. I said, given no... Do you want to swap places? I said to him, so far this year, 10,000 young, undocumented males, most of whom come from a culture that is entirely alien to ours, many of whom, once they come, have the potential to do us great harm. 10,000 young men have crossed the English Channel already this year. A 40% increase on the numbers that came last year. We are headed for record levels. And I made the point that it's those people whose alarms go in the morning, those people who get up and go to work, those people who pay taxes that are funding a lifestyle for those who come to Britain illegally, which means not just four-star hotels, but now, as you've seen, private rental accommodation in mass numbers. And I said to him, smash the gangs. All he's done is smash the Conservatives' dismal record. The Labour government are even worse on the Channel than the Conservatives were, if you can believe it. And I said to him, it's time to declare a national emergency and take appropriate action. And I cannot think of an issue, that upsets the British people more than this. Why? Because it's just unfair. It's just wrong. As soon as they arrive, they get GP appointments. They get free dental care. How many people here have an NHS dentist? I bet not very many. And it's also unfair to those who spent thousands of pounds to come to the country legally, because these people jump the queue. And then what happens is, because we don't deport them, they're given indefinite leave to remain, and then they go to the top of the social housing list, above that of British families, above that of ex-servicemen and others in need. It is unfair, it is wrong, it is breeding resentment, and I have no confidence that either party have the moral courage to stand up and to do what is right. And I tell you what, these may be local elections, but the impact of national policy is there for every council to see. And we've made it very, very clear. The only way you stop people paying traffickers and coming into Dover, and by the way, I was saying this 5 years ago, do you remember? Yes. I was the first person going out into the Channel warning about this. The only way you stop this is you make it not worth paying the trafficker 3,000 euros, 5,000 euros, whatever it is. And how do you do that? You deport those that come illegally. You do it immediately. But we can only do it if we leave the European Court of Human Rights and take back our sovereignty. Well, as you may well predict, that was not the answer I got from Keir Starmer in PMQs. I got a lot of waffle. It's all completely meaningless twaddle. And they all need to go. We'll start with Staffordshire County Council tomorrow. But talking of Staffordshire, here, Labour tomorrow will not be a threat, because Stoke-on-Trent is not part of the county council arrangement. So Labour won't be a threat tomorrow. The Lib Dems are very, very weak in this part of the world, almost non-existent, sir. Yes, their particular brand of pretending to be nice doesn't seem to go down too well in Staffordshire. God, isn't Ed Davey a Burke? I mean, honestly. No, this battle tomorrow here in Staffordshire is a straight fist fight between us and a Conservative Party that was elected in 2019 with an 80-seat majority, with a lot of help from me at the time, because I felt it was the right thing to do. This is a straight fist fight between us and the Conservatives. And there are two very important messages I want to impart to you tonight, here in Staffordshire, but that are relevant for every single one of these elections being fought tomorrow. My first message is to the candidates sitting at the front. And well done them. Well done them. Some of them have experience, but for many of them it's the first time ever they put their heads up over the parapet and decided to stand for public office. And I thank them, although once they're elected they may not necessarily thank me. No, they will. They know. I've talked to many of them in my couple of trips to Staffordshire during the campaign. They know that success brings with it great responsibility. They know that we have to deliver in government in a way that the other parties have not. And I wish all of you that are successful over the course of the next couple of days, I wish all of you, once you're there in County Hall, I wish you all Godspeed. I know you're doing this for the right reasons. You know you're doing this for the right reasons. We will give you whatever help and support as a national party as we possibly can. But ladies and gentlemen, give them a round of applause. They're brave people. They're brave people. But this may be eve of poll. And all of you that are standing, and all of you that have knocked on doors and delivered leaflets, and all of you out there spreading the message and supporting, may well think, well, tomorrow's polling day, it's all a bit too late now, I'll just go down the pub and see if Nigel's there. But actually, tomorrow, there's a lot all of us who want successful Reform UK can do. Firstly, the weather is going to be amazing across the whole country. People will be out in their gardens, they'll be walking down to the shops, they'll be the afternoon and evening in pub gardens. It's a fantastic opportunity for all of you with Reform rosettes to be out meeting as many people as possible. Remember, in local elections, the turnout is normally 35 to 40%. There will be huge numbers of people here in Staffordshire and elsewhere who agree with everything we stand for, but are not in the habit of going out to vote in elections. Well, you go out there and meet these people tomorrow and work up until 8:30 in the evening and encourage them to go down, to vote, to begin, to start the kind of change that we need by clearing this big hurdle tomorrow that'll help take us on to victory, which I believe is achievable in the next general election. Don't waste tomorrow. Use tomorrow. Speak to people. Encourage them. And there's one other very big message that I think really matters, that you can use tomorrow, and I believe we can use from this moment on. Tomorrow is the day that two-party politics that has dominated this country since the end of the Great War, tomorrow is the day that two-party politics in England dies for good. The last two opinion polls that have come out show that despite the fact 9 counties, 5.5 million people, many of them our strongest counties on paper, like Essex and Suffolk and Norfolk, despite the fact elections were denied to those counties, even in the remaining 23, some of which we're strong in, some of which we're less strong in, even in those, the last two polls have shown, we are topping the national vote share for all the counties and seats that are up tomorrow. And if that plays out at the ballot box, it means one very simple, but one very big and very important message. If you vote reform, you will get reform. There's no more splitting of the vote. 40% of the dwindling number that still voted Conservative at the last election didn't vote for us because they didn't think we could win. They thought we'd split the vote. After tomorrow, when we're bigger than the Conservative Party and the world can see it, it'll be them that splits our vote. Vote reform, get reform. That is the message tomorrow, out on the doorsteps, in the streets, in the pub gardens, and I believe that'll be the message for the next 4 years in the run-up to the next general election. British politics is about to change in a way that nobody understands and nobody can see, but I feel it deep within my heart, and I sense that you feel it deep within your heart too. Let's make history and change our country forever and for good. And we already have a silent majority of voters out there. And the way we're now digging into the Labour vote, we are digging into the Labour vote in the Midlands and the North. We are now topping the opinion polls for general election intentions in the East Midlands, West Midlands, North West, North East and Yorkshire in the Humber. In fact, I can tell by the way the Prime Minister looks across the chamber at me. I think I've got inside his mind. Keir Starmer doesn't believe in anything. There are no principles. He just reads out the latest thing that Morgan McSweeney tells him to. And look who's around him. What a shame Lee Anderson's not here. He's on the Northern Comic Circuit tonight. He was pre-booked. But, you know, the Chancellor of the Exchequer that told us she was an economist at the Bank of England for 10 years. It turns out she's Rachel from accounts. And anybody in this room that's involved in retail, anybody in this room that's involved in hospitality knows that these national insurance increases are catastrophic. They will close down many businesses. They will lead to a big increase in unemployment. And frankly, she is completely and hopelessly out of her depth and as good as useless. And then we have a business secretary, Jonathan Reynolds, who said he was a solicitor, but he never ever qualified. But here's the most damning thing of all about this government. 25 men and women in this cabinet, and not one of them has ever worked in private business. We're being run by human rights lawyers. We're being run by a bunch of college kids. We're being run by people who have no idea of how life really is for tens of millions of people out there. They are utterly disconnected, living in their own little fantasy world. And in theory, they're opposed by a Conservative Party that is split down the middle. And frankly, I couldn't tell you what purpose it serves. Tomorrow is the day when we replace a party that's been around since 1832, but is now past its sell-by date. Tomorrow is the day we replace the Conservatives as the main opposition to a poor, weak, hopeless, failing government. Tomorrow is a big day in our nation's democratic history and future. And you are all a part of it. You are part of our people's army. I'm very, very proud of all of you. You come from all walks of life, but I know the passion and determination that you have. The press, of course, when the results come in, will say, it's a protest vote. I'm not protesting, even though there is a lot to protest about. And you're not protesting. But like me, you know this country is in economic decline. This country is in societal decline. This country is in cultural decline. We're led by weak people who don't have sound, solid, good principles. But equally, what I've noticed about reformers, you may be the most realistic about the mess we're in, but you're also the most optimistic because you believe this party, with the right leadership and the right people, can turn this country round, can get it back on track. And we're doing it not just for us, we're doing it for the generations that come after. We may well be the last chance to save any semblance of what this country has always been and what those remnants who we celebrate next week on the 80th VE Day fought for and generations before them. That is what this is about. That is what this is about. And I am determined. I'm more determined than I've ever been before. I'm unafraid of anything or anyone. I went through the jungle, you know. I don't care what they say. I don't care what they do. It is my honour to be at the head of this People's Army. And I want you please now to give applause as I invite all of the Staffordshire County Council candidates up on the stage to join me for this finale to the last event of this election campaign. But don't forget, go out tomorrow and campaign as well. Come on. Coming along this evening. Wish these men and women all the very best for tomorrow. Let's bring success in Staffordshire and across our great country. Thank you very much indeed. Sports up. Sports up.